Teachers. They're like our home away from home, right? We grow up with them, learn life lessons in their classrooms, and build our character. They're like our second parents, helping us become well-rounded individuals. But what happens when they turn out to be not so nice and mess up big time? Here are 5 cases when evil teachers realize they've been caught. Number 5. Teacher lands herself in jail after being drunk in class. In a school called Cross Timbers Elementary in Tecumseh, Oklahoma, things suddenly take an unexpected turn. The school staff, keeping a close eye and caring for the students, notice something off about one of their teachers, Jennifer Davis. They get a bit concerned because they suspect Jennifer might be under the influence of alcohol. To be safe, they make a call to the police department, which kicks off a series of events that'll definitely shake up the normal school day. The teacher in question finds herself at the center of this unexpected scrutiny. She denies the allegations of drinking at school, a claim that hangs in the air, heavy with implications.
Yes, so what's going on today?
They said they had reports where I was drinking at school,
Okay. Is there any
which has never happened.
The officer asks when was the last time she had a drink.
anything to drink?
Last night,
Okay. About what time did you quit drinking?
probably about 10:30.
10:30. How much did you drink?
And she confidently answers she's only had a bit.
Just a glass of wine, nothing major.
The officers, trained to handle such delicate situations, decide to conduct a field sobriety test.
All right. Well, would you be willing to submit to some tests
Yeah.
to make sure everything's okay?
It's a standard procedure, but in the confines of a school, it feels out of place. They first start with the horizontal gaze nystagmus, HGN, a test that involves following an object with one's eyes.
All right. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to check you for HGN. Okay, this is what we call standardized field sobriety tests. Okay. There's 3 of them. I'm going to pretty much focus,
For Davis, who relies heavily on her glasses, this is a challenging moment.
which is horizontal gaze nystagmus. I'm going to have you take your glasses off, and I'm going to have you, we'll stand up when we do this, but I'm going to have you track my
I am
finger.
so blind without them, I can't hardly
Can you see something like my finger?
She complies, but the officers notice signs that all is not as it should be.
Okay, try to keep your head as straight as you can, okay?
While undergoing the test, she openly admits to feeling nervous, and you can see her moving her head instead of just her eyes.
Oh,
I'm nervous.
I get it. Keep your head straight. Just put your eyes over here. There you go.
Following the HGN test, the officers present Davis with another opportunity to clear the air, a portable breathalyzer test.
This is what we call our portable breathalyzer machine. Okay?
Yes.
You don't have to take the test. Okay? But this will show the presence of alcohol if there's any on board.
It's an offer that carries weight, a chance for her to prove her innocence to the school administrators.
But this again would be your opportunity. If teachers here or administrators feel that they smell alcohol on you, this would be your opportunity to prove that that's not.
Sure.
Okay? You willing to take that test?
Davis, maintaining her stance of not having consumed alcohol that day, agrees to the test.
This is your opportunity to prove to your employer
Yeah,
that you're
no.
not. So.
I mean, no, today I haven't had anything, but like I admitted to you last night, yes.
The result, however, tells a different story.
Mouth and blow into that as hard as you can until I tell you to stop. Big deep breath, blow. Hard. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Good.
The breathalyzer reads .06, just below the legal limit for driving under the influence.
I don't even know what that
0.06.
is. That
You are just under the legal limit.
This revelation adds tangible proof to the growing concerns.
So if you were to be out driving right now, you would be charged with DWI, driving while intoxicated.
under the legal limit?
Just under it. The legal limit is .08.
The officer explains that if she were behind the wheel, she'd be facing a DWI charge.
But .06 to 107, you could be charged with DWI.
I haven't had anything to drink today.
Okay.
The situation escalates as the officers discuss their findings with the school administrators.
She's not fit to come to be at school.
No.
If that's above a 0, she's not needed to be at
Yeah.
school.
The evidence is hard to ignore. The breathalyzer reading, coupled with Davis' performance in the sobriety test, paints a clear picture.
part of SFSTs, which is HGN, horizontal gaze nystagmus, and she does have the onset of nystagmus prior to 45 degrees.
Okay. So she did not pass a field.
She's not in a state to be at school, in a place where she's responsible for the well-being and education of children.
Looking pretty bad too.
I noticed the policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
The officers note that she had been driving. The consequences would have been severe, an arrest for DUI.
If you pulled her over and she did that and exhibited the signs that you had, would you let her continue driving?
No.
Okay. Then we don't need to let her drive. Would you arrest her?
The school administrators are faced with a tough decision.
She's been around kids this morning. She
Right.
came to school drunk.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I say drunk. She came to school
Intoxicated. Yeah.
Been intoxicated.
The trust placed in a teacher is sacred, and here it's been broken.
I'm willing to go that way, or if she's not willing to give me a letter of resignation.
And that's something you'll work out between with her. But from a legal standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and make.
After careful consideration, the school administrator comes to a decision.
But it's also the thing that will draw scrutiny and criticism from everybody in the community.
Because she's allowed to go.
They then share with the officer the morning reports they received about Davis drinking.
And the report that I got this morning was basically from someone who said that she was good at masking, hiding the smell of alcohol, or hiding.
Along with her complete denial of having consumed any alcohol.
Told her that you were coming. She wasn't worried at all.
Really?
No.
There was no.
She denied completely that it was going to happen and
No
that she.
Back in the room where Jennifer is waiting, the officer breaks the news about her breathalyzer results.
I'm going to be honest with you. This is a portable breathalyzer machine. It reads a little lower than what the actual intoxilizer, which we utilize at the police department. It reads lower.
However, she remains adamant in denying any alcohol consumption.
0.066.
I have not had any, that's what I'm saying. I haven't had anything today.
Okay, well, again, and I don't know your drinking habits.
The officer then explains that if she were to take the breathalyzer back at the station, her results would likely register much higher.
I'm comfortable enough to let you know if you were to be put on the actual intoxilizer that you'd be up around a 0.12, 0.13 area, okay?
She's further informed that she didn't pass the eye test.
Your eyes for horizontal gaze nystagmus, you had every clue. You had the onset of, you had a lack of equal pursuit, you had the onset of nystagmus prior to 45 degrees, and you had nystagmus at max deviate.
After assessing the situation, the police make the decision to proceed with an arrest for public intoxication.
Today you're going to be arrested for public intoxication. Okay?
Davis pleads with the officer, asking him not to arrest her and suggesting that her sister can come to pick her up. She even expresses her willingness to resign.
Please don't do this. I
Ma'am,
will have
listen.
my sister come get me.
I don't write the laws.
And I will resign.
Well, that's going to be, that's something you're going to
The officers then provide her with an explanation of the charges and the subsequent procedures, emphasizing that it's a municipal charge of public intoxication.
You're taking me to county.
and it's going to be a municipal charge. I'm not going to run it through the district court. It'll be through the city to come to. It'll be municipal.
They offered Davis a choice: resign or termination.
Resign. That's your option. If you choose not to, though, I would be forced to go to the board and ask for your termination.
It's a moment of reckoning, a decision that carries the weight of her professional career. Davis, faced with the undeniable evidence and the loss of her position, accepts the offer to resign. She requests that they don't handcuff her, but unfortunately, the officers must adhere to their policy and cannot make an exception.
Handcuffed out, please. I'm not going to run on you.
Well, I know that. But it is, listen to me, the police department operates under policies and procedures.
They explain that they can't treat her differently.
We did more different than anybody else, or we're setting ourselves up for liability.
That's
okay?
fine, but
Now, I'm not going to run you down the hallways and page you through.
My child is in the 3rd grade hole.
Where's,
However, they do honor her request to avoid her child's classroom to prevent any potential embarrassment.
where's the classroom window at? Does it face out to this parking lot right here?
I don't
No?
know.
Okay, we'll be okay then.
Jennifer, now becoming emotional, is given permission to call her sister to pick up her child from school.
You will be picking Macy up today. Okay, well, they're taking me to jail.
Sam
So
082 121 670.
The officer advises her to inform her sister about the conditions of her arrest.
Now, explain to her, ma'am. Once you're booked in, like I said, it's a municipal charge of PI, okay?
It's a municipal.
It is a bondable charge.
The officer shows Jennifer some consideration and mentions that they will handcuff her in the front instead of behind her.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work with you a little bit, okay? You can remain calm. We're going to handcuff you up front.
Do what?
We'll handcuff you up front, not in the back.
As she's being handcuffed, she anxiously asks if her arrest will be covered in the news.
What is my, is this going to go like on the news, Mr. Kinsey?
Chances are it will, Jennifer. I don't have control over what they...
The school administrator responds that it's beyond her control, and there's a possibility that reporters might show up.
It's reported, then there will be statements the district will have to release, and notes we'll have to send home to parents, and then news reporters will probably show up.
Despite Jennifer's continued pleas for leniency, her fate is sealed.
Could we, please, I've never been in trouble in my life.
I understand it, but again, that's not up to me. I'm not going to go pushing anything out there.
The school administrator explains that due to her intoxication, he has no choice but to follow school policy and inform the police department.
You've got to respond and let people know that we followed our policy and had to involve the police department.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Davis is then escorted to the police car for transportation to the station.
Follow me. We'll go to my car and take you up to the jail.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
She faces charges of public intoxication and ultimately decides to resign from the school. Number 4. Teacher sentenced to 20 years in prison. In Goodyear, Arizona, the life of Brittany Zamora, a once celebrated teacher, takes a dramatic turn. Awarded Teacher of the Year in 2016, Zamora's career trajectory seemed promising. Graduating from Arizona State University, she first taught at Littleton Elementary School in Avondale before being recruited to Las Brisas Academy by Principal Timothy Dickey. However, beneath this veneer of success lurks a disturbing reality. Zamora, arrested in March 2018, faced allegations that shattered the trust inherent in her profession. She was accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a 13-year-old student in her 6th grade class. Police reports detailed how she engaged in improper acts with the boy multiple times, both in her car and classroom, and sometimes with another minor present. The reports painted a picture of manipulation and abuse, revealing instances where inappropriate activities occurred even while her class was in session. This video is the body cam footage of her arrest. Police officers, with a sense of duty etched on their faces, prepared to transport Brittany.
So as I said before, this officer has a body cam on him as well, so just to make you feel more comfortable, even though... Okay, Brittany, come on over here. Yeah.
They ensure the handcuffs are double locked, a small but significant gesture to prevent any discomfort to Brittany.
Brittany, I'm going to turn your wrist in here, okay?
No, we just want to make sure they don't pinch you. Okay. So we double lock them so they don't close any tighter, okay?
As they proceed, the officers ask Brittany routine questions, ensuring she doesn't have anything on her that could be harmful.
Have anything on you that's going to hurt me? Could dope me, stick me, anything like that?
No.
Anything dangerous? No weapons? Okay.
Can we take a ring off?
Yeah, can you?
Yes.
It's a standard procedure, but in this context, it feels more profound. Brittany, caught in a situation she likely never imagined, responds with a negative. The officers, in their methodical manner, assure her that all her personal belongings, including her necklace, will be taken care of.
This is your personal property, so everything that goes in this bag, I'm going to take your necklace off as well. So we'll document it.
Can you unhandcuff me?
It's a moment of humanity in a process often seen as impersonal. The officers then give her a pat-down. They carefully check if Brittany has anything concealed in her clothing.
Have anything stuffed in your bra?
No.
Okay. Okay. And then is this just an outer?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can take it off.
No, you can keep it on. I'm just...
It's a thorough search, but one that's conducted with respect. They even check her mouth, asking her to lift her tongue, a routine check for hidden items.
Anything. Can you turn towards me? Open up your mouth. Lift up your tongue. Okay.
Brittany is then helped into the police vehicle.
And then I will help you. I know it's a big step.
I'm only 5 foot.
I know. I feel it. Ready? Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
They inform her that her car will be towed, a necessary procedure given the circumstances.
We're gonna tow your car.
Okay.
And whenever we're gonna bring you down to our station, okay, you're gonna speak to a detective and they'll kind of explain.
They explain that she'll be taken to the station to speak with a detective who will provide more details about her situation.
What's gonna happen. So if you have any questions, I know you want to know the answers now, but I can't provide you those answers.
Upon arrival at the station, Brittany is initially asked to sit on a bench.
You can have a seat on that bench for a second. Hi.
Shortly after, she's asked to stand so she can remove her jewelry.
Actually, I'm going to have you stand up because I'm going to take those cuffs off you so you can take your jewelry out.
Including her belly button ring.
If you would like some privacy to get your belly button ring out, I can put you in a cell.
Can I just turn around?
That's fine.
The officers offer her privacy for this task, a gesture that underscores their respect for her personal dignity. In this moment, Brittany is more than just a suspect. She's a human being, treated with a level of decency that's often overlooked in such scenarios. The officers proceed to complete her paperwork, ask for her personal information, and inquire about any medical issues, ensuring her well-being while in custody.
Anything like that, medical issues?
Once they've gathered all her information, they lead her to a holding cell, where she'll be waiting for her verdict.
I don't know.
And there's no way I can call my husband or anything?
They'll talk to you and everything, explain what they're doing, but just sit tight, okay?
It's kind of interesting, though. She appears remarkably calm, considering she knows what she did and that her life is about to change. Big time. I mean, would you be that relaxed if you knew you were on your way to jail? Maybe it's because she's been in trouble before and somehow always found a way out. But honestly, when it comes to understanding what's happening in the mind of someone who committed such a serious offense against a minor, it's anyone's guess. Ultimately, Brittany received the lowest possible sentence for a crime, 20 years in prison, with a requirement to register as an offender and be on probation for life. The maximum sentence could have been 44 years, but she was only sentenced to the minimum term, taking into account the likelihood of her not reoffending. Number 3. Teacher caught drunk in the classroom. Shows up drunk in court. You remember that Oklahoma teacher who showed up drunk to school in a previous video? Well, guess what? She's back with us for round 2, and she's really outdone herself this time. She repeated the same stunt in court.
He showed up to a public courthouse intoxicated. Okay, that's public intoxication. That is charging.
The officers in attendance notice subtle cues. Kimberly's speech isn't entirely clear, and her movements are a bit unsteady. These subtle indicators are sufficient for them to suspect that she could be under the influence, drawing from their extensive experience dealing with similar cases day after day. When asked a direct question about whether she's consumed any alcohol that day,
Have you had something to drink today? Yes. No.
I'm sorry, what?
Have you had anything to drink today? Yes
I
or
had a
no?
glass of wine this morning. Yes.
This morning?
she openly admits to having had a glass of wine earlier that morning.
Like,
An hour ago this morning?
No.
This straightforward and honest admission sets in motion a chain of events that unfolds with a composed sense of inevitability. A voice in the background reminds her of her right to remain silent.
to see your attorney. Stop talking.
I'm sorry, what?
You have the right to stop talking. Am I wrong, gentlemen?
Despite this advice, the officers have seen enough to proceed.
Glass eyes.
Slurred speech, swaying. No.
Well, I can go home with my husband. He's going to take me home.
They explain to Kimberly that she's being arrested for public intoxication.
With me now. You're going to be arrested for public intoxication.
I don't understand.
You're in public. You're intoxicated. You're going to
It's a serious matter, especially in a courthouse, a place where the law is particularly respected and upheld. Kimberly is understandably confused.
But I haven't done anything. I don't
You're
understand. I'm sorry.
intoxicated at this point, ma'am. You're drunk. You have slurred speech. Okay? You're very unsteady on your feet.
She asks to go home, but the officers, following protocol, begin the arrest process.
Well, I can go home. Please, just let me go home.
That's not how it works, ma'am. Okay.
Her confusion deepens. This isn't how she expected her day to go.
I don't understand.
Go to
I
the
don't
elevator.
understand. I'm so sorry.
They ask for her personal items, a standard procedure, but one that underscores the seriousness of her situation.
Do you have anything else on your person that you'd like your husband to take, like a cell phone, keys, or anything?
I don't understand.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Could you just tell me what's going on?
The officers, maintaining a professional demeanor, detail the observations to Kimberly.
Under arrest for public intoxication. Okay. We noticeably saw that you were unsteady on your feet downstairs.
They mention her unsteady walk and the smell of alcohol.
We watched you come up the stairs as you were coming to court. Go ahead, we're going to get in the elevator. Okay, you were very unsteady coming up the stairs. Okay, we also have the DOC gentleman.
Evidence that supports their decision.
I could also smell the odor of alcohol upon your breath. Okay, and even while you're talking, your speech is very slurred. Okay, we can go back around to the front desk.
They lead Kimberly away in a calm, methodical manner.
And what's your first name?
The paperwork is swiftly taken care of, and then the handcuffs go on as a matter of course.
Not all the time. You gotta pick your battle, right?
She's then escorted to a holding cell.
Okay, in between those two doors right there on your left, just stand right there for me.
Signifying her journey from a regular visitor to someone tangled in the legal process.
That's what we're going to jail for. Exactly what I explained. Okay, this first door on your left.
In the cell, Kimberly sits down as instructed.
Step in there and have a seat on the bench to your right. Good. Yeah.
The officer then removes her handcuffs.
Your hands. Or your wrist up.
To secure her to the bench.
Good. Down, down. There you go.
This moment in the cell marks a pause in the day's events, a time for Kimberly to reflect on the situation. It's pretty obvious that Kimberly has a real alcohol problem. I mean, seriously, who in their right mind shows up to court drunk when they know it's their drinking that got them in trouble in the first place, right? Her teaching career might be a long shot to recover now, but let's hope she can at least get the help she needs after this stint in jail. Number 2. Teacher gets a lesson from the police. In a small town, a gray Nissan speeds down the road, catching the attention of local law enforcement. The driver, a woman named Danielle, seems oblivious to the pursuit of the police car until the officer activates his emergency lights. She pulls over, and the officer approaches her vehicle. Danielle, a local school teacher, is returning from a bar. She's distracted, her mind elsewhere, perhaps on the recent custody battle with her ex-husband over their children. The officer, sensing something's amiss, asks her to step out of the car.
All right, Danielle, first things first, can I ask you to put this away because this belongs to your friend? I'll also have to ask you to shut off the vehicle, step out, and speak to me.
She complies, her movements slow, her speech slightly slurred. The officer's suspicion grows. Danielle stands beside her car, the flashing lights casting long shadows. The officer, Deputy Wynn, explains the situation.
All right, so real quick, it is a bit of a concern when you're telling us that you were over at the bar.
I know.
And then, of course, I can smell the alcohol on your breath. You're a little bit slow. You kept on driving after I pulled up behind you.
He's concerned about her state, having smelled alcohol on her breath.
So at this time, I do have to reach you something real quick before I proceed any further.
Danielle's demeanor shifts from distracted to defensive. She's a teacher, respected in her community, but now she's on the verge of being exposed. Deputy Wynn, following protocol, reads Danielle her rights.
These are your rights. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say may be used as evidence against you. You have the right to talk to the attorney and have him or her with you now or at any time during questioning.
It's a formality, but the gravity of the situation is not lost on her.
Appointed to represent you. If at any time you wish to stop talking or have an attorney present, all questioning will be stopped at your request. Do you understand these rights?
The officer asks about her drinking at the bar. Danielle admits to having a couple of glasses of wine, her voice tinged with regret.
So, what did you have to drink over at Hooligans?
I had a couple glasses of wine.
She mentions her children, her voice cracking with emotion.
And my kids were kidnapped from me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Back in January. And I don't even know what to do at this point.
It's Easter, a time she's always spent with him, but not this year.
Sunday is Easter. I've never been without them on Easter. Never ever have I been without them on Easter.
Her personal life is unraveling, and now her professional life is at stake too. The officer, though understanding and sympathetic to her situation, asks her if she's willing to perform sobriety tests.
Understood. Well, again, this is still a big concern of us, so would you be willing to participate in field sobriety exercises?
The field sobriety tests begin.
Alright, well, let's head on over here and get this out of the way.
Danielle is instructed to walk heel to toe along a straight line.
When I tell you to begin, you'll take 9 heel to toe steps on the line. They'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth.
She hesitates, her mind racing.
Danielle, do you understand the instructions?
I don't want to do this.
This is a test she can't afford to fail, but her coordination is off, her steps uncertain. The officer watches, her expression unreadable. Danielle's career and her reputation as a teacher hangs in the balance. Next comes the one-leg stand test.
The next exercise we're going to do is called the one-leg stand.
As the officer begins reading the instructions, Danielle starts to break down emotionally.
Listen, I'm not a bad person.
I understand.
I don't know what to tell you guys. My kids were kidnapped away from me.
Undeterred by her emotions, the officer continues with the test as instructed.
I understand, Danielle. That's not why we're here tonight. Do you understand the instructions?
Despite her efforts to balance, Danielle's body betrays her.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. I can't even do that.
She wobbles and struggles to maintain her stance. In response, Danielle claims that she can't balance even when she's sober, prompting the officer to move on to the next test.
If you can't do it, then we'll just go to the next one, okay?
Now, it's time for the final test, the finger to nose.
The next one's called finger to nose. Bring the hand eye direct upwards, touching the tip of your finger to the tip of your nose.
What? I don't understand that.
When I tell you to...
This time, Danielle finds it tough to start as her emotions well up. The officer checks if she's up for continuing.
Danielle, do you wish to continue?
Yes, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Listen, I can't do this.
Despite her emotional state, Danielle decides to give it another shot.
My kids are taken away from me.
Do you refuse to participate in field sobriety then?
No. I don't refuse.
The officer repeats the instructions.
Would you like me to read you the instructions again? Please stand with your feet together, arms at your side, and your index fingers pointed outwards.
But Danielle has trouble understanding, and even makes fun of it.
That's the stupidest freaking shit I've ever heard. What are you even saying?
I'm reading it straight off the instructions. Do you understand the instructions so far?
She's asked once more if she's willing to do the test. The officer explains that if she refuses, he'll have to make a decision to arrest her based on the information he has.
So that means you're refusing to participate in this exercise.
And then what?
Then
go to jail?
Then a decision for your arrest will have to be made with the information that I have.
Danielle continues to cry and brings up her kids as an excuse for her intoxicated state.
I'm not a bad person. I just want to go home. My kids were taken away from me.
However, the officer maintains professionalism and stands firm.
I understand, but that's going to be a matter that will have to be solved in civil courts. Understood?
I know that. I have a lawyer, I have all this stuff, but
He responds perfectly to Danielle's emotional pleas.
do you have kids? Imagine if your kids were taken away from you.
Imagine at 65 miles an hour you run into a kid and end their life instantly. Then their kids are taken away from their parents permanently.
Due to Danielle's delaying tactics and refusal to resume the sobriety tests, the officer reaches a decision.
You are placed under arrest. Turn around, place your hands behind your back.
Danielle is arrested for suspected DUI. Her world, once controlled and orderly, is now in disarray. The officer searches her before placing her in the vehicle. Danielle's frustration boils over.
I've never been arrested.
Danielle, listen to my
instructions. This is so weird. Like, just please. I've never been arrested before.
She's never been in this position before. With her authority challenged, her integrity questioned, she pleads and argues, her voice laced with desperation.
Have a seat. Have a seat.
As she's instructed to take a seat in the police car, she suddenly lashes out at the lady officer.
Can you please stop my boyfriend?
No, you can have a seat.
Please. Stop being a bitch to me. You fucking bitch.
Have a seat. You. Watch your head.
Her words are sharp and her tone bitter.
These handcuffs hurt bad. I've never been handcuffed before. They hurt.
Well, I'm not supposed to be comfortable.
You're such an asshole. Like, why would you do this to me?
Danielle is indignant, her pride wounded.
You're a like, why would you do this to me?
Because you were driving drunk.
I'm not driving drunk.
She's a teacher, a role model, but at this moment, she's just another suspect in the back of a police car.
You have me handcuffs in the back seat, like I'm a fucking criminal. I'm not a criminal. Whatever, dude.
The reality of her situation is setting in. Danielle hurls insults at the officer during the ride to the station.
Fuck you, you piece of shit, motherfucking chink. Fuck you. I promise you, you're the worst person on the face of this.
She's really showing her true colors now.
Piece of shit. Oh, it's so funny, right? So funny, right? Yeah, you're laughing, right?
Well, I guess she's not the polite, respectable teacher we all thought she was.
You. I don't give a
Shifting from anger, she becomes emotional and starts feeling sorry for herself.
I've never been in jail. I've never even been close to being in jail. So I have to be in there with all those people.
In the end, Danielle was charged with DUI, reduced to reckless driving. She's sentenced to 12 months probation and a hefty fine. Now, she not only risks losing her teaching license, but also potentially custody of her children. Number 1. Public school teacher arrested for trespassing. Outside the premise of a school, Deshawnda Bailey, who used to be a well-known part of the school community, is standing her ground with a mix of determination and desperation. Officers Hamas and Claudio, representing the Milwaukee Police Department, are on the scene to handle a sensitive situation.
Hey, Miss Bailey, I'm Officer Hamas with the Milwaukee Police Department. It's my partner, Officer Claudio. So we were sent over here because we were told that you're no longer an employee of MPS and that they've asked you to leave.
They've received information that Bailey, who claims to still work for Milwaukee Public Schools, is no longer employed and has been asked to leave the premises. Bailey, however, contests this.
True, I'm not an employee. I got email correspondence on my phone saying I'm an active employee with MPS.
She's adamant about her status as an active employee, clutching her phone as if it holds the key to her vindication. She's been trying to reach someone, anyone who can clarify her situation. Her access to the school's systems has been blocked, a move she finds unjust and baseless. In a moment of high tension, she tells the officers that she'll go live online and expose the whole situation.
So if we're going to have a police response, that means I need to go live and go ahead and expose this because now they're
So
lying.
what's going on?
The officers, maintaining a professional demeanor, listen, but are unmoved. Their orders are clear. Bailey is no longer part of MPS. A school official, perhaps someone who once worked closely with Bailey, confirms this. Bailey resigned last week, they say. She's not even in the school's directory anymore.
She resigned last week on the 27th.
Okay.
And she's not even in our 411 directory anymore, so she's not active.
So can you contact...
But Bailey is unyielding.
Okay, well, you can have them come down.
Okay.
I am Shonda Bailey. They know who I am. So just because I'm not your director anymore, that's because today it was strategically
I'm not having a conversation with you because when I tried to have...
She believes she's been wronged and that her departure from MPS is a mistake that needs rectification.
Conversation with you earlier, you would not listen to me. Yeah, I had to because you entered the building without permission and you refused to leave when I gave you a verbal directive.
She's not just here out of a sense of injustice for herself. She's fighting for what she believes is right. She talks about wage deductions.
Well, that equates to trespassing then.
I'm not trespassing. I'm an employee here. And I'm coming to get a response for them deducting wages from my check. And the Department of Workforce Development
And a labor standards complaint involving another employee, James Gordon.
has also been doing an investigation that James Gordon, who's an employee here, failed to provide information during the fact finding, so I had to file a labor standards complaint and was sent over to...
Her account has gone into overdraft, she says, a direct result of a rescinded paycheck.
This is my employer. I have a check stub from dated Friday that was rescinded, causing my account to go into overdraft, which now I have to reach out to Williams Hilton Law.
She also mentions needing her paycheck stubs for community advocacy.
But this is not okay. I was told that I can come here and get my check stub, and I've been denied access to payroll. The payroll window is right here.
True.
She can print off.
Things take a turn for the worse. They hand Bailey a no trespassing order for MPS school offices.
Okay, Miss Bailey, you're receiving a no trespassing order from MPS school offices.
According to them, she's been off the employee roster since last Friday. But Bailey's getting even more baffled and upset.
Because you're no longer an employee of the district. As of Friday, the email you sent on Friday. That's what the HR told me you sent an email on Friday. Okay.
She starts talking about emails, HR, and how much she needs her pay stubs.
Not going to have any more conversations regarding you need to leave.
So I need my check stubs like they told me I can come.
You're not getting that today. You're going to leave.
She's not just a former employee. She's someone in a tough spot. Someone who feels let down by a system she used to trust.
And you're not getting them today.
Why am I not? How am I getting them?
Huh?
If I can't email them, how do I
You
get
can
them?
contact HR via phone.
Via
Ma'am.
phone, and I've been getting ignored.
Ma'am.
That's why I'm here.
Bailey's been trying to reach out to HR for weeks, she claims. But it's like talking to a brick wall.
Ma'am.
I've been contacting them for weeks.
Ma'am.
Sir.
Okay, you need to stand up and leave the property.
Why?
Because,
Who told me that?
huh? That tells you right there.
She's here because she's been left with no other option. She's been flat out ignored.
HR.
From Friday, but I reported to work Friday. So how did I get a no trespassing? Oh, Adria Mandolini, but I've just been calling her all morning.
Okay. She said she will give you a call back.
The officers have been patient and understanding, but they emphasize that the law is the law.
But you need to leave the property right now, or you will be placed under arrest for trespassing.
Okay, I'll be placed under arrest for trespassing.
Yes.
When?
Right now?
Right now?
Yes.
They insist that Bailey needs to leave the premises. However, she remains resolute, standing her ground with unwavering determination.
Let me contact my attorney so you can't arrest me, okay?
No, we won't be doing that.
Share the People's Revolution.
Ma'am.
The situation comes to a head as Bailey flat out refuses to budge, her defiance in sharp contrast to the officers' rising impatience. They try to reason with her, but it seems like they're reaching their breaking point. Finally, they lay it all on the line, giving her one last chance. The officers issue a stern warning, making it clear that if she doesn't start cooperating, they'll have no choice but to slap her with a trespassing charge. A pretty serious consequence.
Ma'am, this is your last chance to stand up and leave the property.
He's about to arrest me right now.
Go ahead and stand up.
I'm about to go in my car.
We're past that point.
However, Bailey doesn't appear fazed by this ultimatum. She remains steadfast in her position. The standoff continues, leaving everyone on edge and wondering how it will all play out. Later, the officers take a moment to discuss the incident.
What was she here for? Claiming that she's an employee and she wants X, Y, and Z from the department, or from the school.
They mention how Bailey insisted on being an employee, demanding payroll documents, despite HR confirming she's no longer part of the school.
Payroll came out, said she's not an employee. HR came out, said she's not an employee. HR gave security to give her no trespassing. She was told to leave umpteen times.
They also remark on her challenging and defiant behavior when they tried to place her under arrest.
Chose not to leave. When I went to go hands-on, said, "You're under arrest then." "Oh, I'm going to my car."
Bailey's making quite the commotion with her loud screams and protests, signaling her determination to take things up a notch. It's like she's inviting more trouble on herself, potentially stacking up additional charges along with trespassing.
Can you just document the McCad injuries to Officer H? Scratches to the hand from her resisting, intentionally trying to scratch me.
Meanwhile, the officers are doing the paperwork grind. They're noting down everything that went down and reporting the injuries they suffered during the whole ordeal. One of the officers mentions how he's got scratches all over his hands from dealing with Bailey's resistance.
I had scratches all over my hands from her.
It's becoming quite a complicated situation, with no easy way out in sight. The video concludes with Bailey's tearful sobs, her spirit of defiance still unbroken. The school corridor, once a place of familiarity and belonging for her, has now become a battleground of contention. And with that, we're done with our list of teachers who, let's be honest, aren't exactly the role models we'd want our kids to admire. I can't help but cringe when I think about that public school teacher who made a total spectacle of herself by acting like she's still part of the school. And let's not forget about that teacher who had an inappropriate relationship with a student. That's just below the belt. So which one of these cases shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, check out our other stuff showing up on the screen right now. And I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.